This was the longest cruise of their lives.
Can't even express the gratitude that I feel for everyone that has helped us.
It's just weird being I have to wear a mask to go outside.
15-year-old Chloe Woody can't mask her feelings, stranded in Italy for a month with no end in sight.
So the first 2 weeks we were allowed to do stuff. We got to see Romeo and Juliet's castle. That was fun. And then exactly 1 week from when we were supposed to leave, we woke up. 2,000 plus people had the virus. And then the government shut down Italy. We couldn't leave. We couldn't do anything. It was terrible after the second week.
Italy was totally locked down, and in the town that she was in, it was not a very big town. They closed it off on the north and south ends, so you couldn't go anywhere, not even to a family member's house, without a document declaring where you were going. She was in a house with two 80-year-olds plus, like 89, and then my brother, who's 70. So the outside family felt horrible for Chloe and wanted to take her out of that environment. And the only way they could do it was to put her in the trunk of their car.
It scared me at first, but then I got used to it because there was only supposed to be one person in the car. But I just wanted to see my uncle and make sure he's okay.
I can't change it. I don't have a plane. I can't fly to get her or anybody else that might be stuck there. There's just nothing I can do.
First day, I received an email. Their plane ticket, their flight had been canceled. So every single day I was on the phone with Delta trying to change their ticket. A week into it, I contacted the embassy, and the embassy pushed us into the consulate, and they did nothing. Nothing. They just gave us information. Every time we contacted the consulate changed their policy. She's living in her new reality, and she had no idea what was going on here. I had been in contact with the State Department. I had been in contact with the embassy, the consulate, our local congressman's office, my brother's congressman's office.
I didn't know she called the State Department. I knew she was trying to get in touch with our senator and a whole bunch of other people that they know.
No one even organized any kind of transportation or just bus for Americans from the north to get to the south to where the flights were running. And that was the greatest problem. As far as I know, there's still Americans over there because they don't know how they were able to travel. I think that how I was actually able to have a representative that I could talk to happened because of Chloe's age. She was a minor trapped in Europe. But if I could get her to Milan and get her on the flight from Milan to Rome to New York, I could get her back into the US. I didn't trust this, but I was like, okay, I'll try it. My brother said he would not get on that flight because of his health crisis. She ended up coming home around the 14th of April. But I made her reservation 7 days before that. I said, well, we have to try, and she has to come home. It was very bittersweet. It was very bittersweet because I had to go to New York to get her. And all of the reports about New York were horrifying. And you would understand from living there, this is such a grand city where there's so much life. The idea that now I had to go there with so much fear of her catching this virus, that it was just very bittersweet.
I cried immediately. I took her picture and cried, and when she saw me and realized it was me, she started laughing because she was looking for me not to be in a suit.
Very happy that she's safe, because through all of this, that's the hardest thing, because you never know when you're going to get a phone call when somebody or something happens. So knowing that she's traveling from one house to another in the back of the car is fun for her while it's happening. But as a parent, you're thinking, oh my goodness.
I'm happy. I'm very happy.
I'm so delighted to have her home. It's unbelievable.
I missed it a lot. I miss my dogs. I miss my parents, my sister. It's really good to just be home.
it's changed our relationship in a way that I feel more appreciated by her. When Chloe left, she's the baby, so she's spoiled. What can I say? So she comes home and she's doing dishes. It's like, wow. Like, you know, you do a double. I don't remember her offering to put the dishes away. I don't remember her offering to do these things. And I think that she's been far more grateful and appreciative of my husband and myself, and sometimes her sister.
But even before this, my mom was my best friend, but we got closer. I love you, Mom.
I will have plenty of stories to tell from this one forever.
We would never have taken that cruise if we had known how serious the issue was going to turn out to be. I mean, it only became a declared global pandemic maybe 10 days after we boarded the ship. We were on an initial 2-week cruise to celebrate our 32nd wedding anniversary. So we left Buenos Aires, Argentina, sometime in late February on the cruise. And there were no U.S. confirmed cases of the virus. There wasn't even a rumored case of it in all of South America. We didn't really feel threatened by it at all. And then on the morning of the planned departure, which was March 15th, the captain came on and made an announcement at about 6 in the morning that the president of Chile had closed all the ports to all the arrivals that morning, airports and seaports. Ultimately, 16 days later, on March 31st, we were finally allowed to get off the ship. They did agree to allow us to sail up the coast of Valparaiso, Chile. We would be allowed to port for 3 days while they got food and fuel and medicine, most importantly, to everybody. Then after those 3 days were over, we set sail for an 11-day sail to San Diego, which was the only place that was going to agree to let us off. What was funny was life on board was relatively normal, even after the announcement that we weren't going to be able to get off in Chile. While on the ship, we didn't wear masks. No one wore masks. No one social distanced. I mean, there were pool parties every day. No one avoided sitting next to you in the buffet or the restaurant. And of course, we all sat next to one another in the entertainment venues and even the ship casino. We got a few television stations, so we were able to kind of see what was going on back home. On land, it is the exact opposite. Masks, social distancing, restaurant closures, barbershop closures. We were constantly reassured by the captain via a shipboard announcement every night that we were all healthy and that no one on board was showing any symptoms and that we would have no problem from departing from San Diego when we got home. So when we did get to San Diego, we did board flights home for that day, but only after having passed a 3-pronged health-related procedure. Once we passed all 3, we were allowed to get off the boat. I think by that time, everybody was pretty anxious to get back. I mean, they had arranged for flights for us. It wasn't, of course, our original flights, but they had arranged for flights to fly us home on commercial airlines that were still operating at the time. So we had a flight from San Diego to Denver, which was probably about half full of a full jet. And then we had a flight from Denver to Oklahoma City, where we were literally the only 2 passengers on the entire jet, besides the crew. However, even at that date, which was March 31st, none of the crew were wearing masks. We social distanced, but we were the only ones on the flight. So it wasn't that complicated. All 3 airports were, for all practical purposes, completely empty. I've never seen any international airport, especially Denver, which is crowded like crazy all the time, to look anything like it had been deserted. But it was like a scene out of the Walking Dead TV show. I mean, just no one around at all. Right after we had got home, we noticed an email from the cruise line that said that one person on board was denied off-boarding that day due to failing the departure health check. And then they took that person to the hospital, they gave them a COVID-19 test, and they had tested positive. And so the cruise ship basically said, we think it is best for you to quarantine for 14 days, which of course we were already doing, so it wasn't really a big deal. However, the last I heard, over 200 people that were on our ship have now came down with the virus within 14 days of departing the boat. After we finished our 14-day self-quarantine, we ran off to the clinic to have the antibody tests done just to see if we had any antibodies. We were basically betting that we were going to have antibodies because we thought we'd probably been exposed, even though we did have no symptoms. However, my wife and I both tested negative. What we thought was the most odd during the experience was that back home, everybody was constantly contacting us saying how worried they were for our health and safety and how careful we needed to be. And we thought it was the exact opposite. We thought we were in a clean bubble and that they were the ones that were in the biggest amount of jeopardy. But we missed all the toilet paper wars. We missed all the dwindling supplies. You know, we had plenty of everything. Evan Onstadt was right when he asked me what we're going to do for our 33rd wedding anniversary. And I said, I think we're going to do something on land. So I think we might be, we made wait a while before we go on a cruise again.